Justice. We dream the dream of justice. We glimpse, for a moment, a world put to rights. We all hear the echo for justice, even from a young age. If a child gets something that another doesn't get, almost immediately you will hear, "That's not fair." And later on in life, even as an adult, the same is true. In the workplace, at home, anywhere and everywhere you go, things aren't going to be fair. We all want things to be right, to be in order, to be fair. But everything about our world is almost completely out of order. We have racism, homophobia, sexism, bullying, things that are so wrong that we feel the need to make right, but to no avail. We make laws, we punish those who break the rules, but still, justice is hard to find in today's society. We all want things to be just, but at the same time, in ourselves, there is injustice. So why do we hear this echo for justice if we as a people are unjust? How can we have this longing for righteousness in the world if there was no one to give it to us? Right says there is someone speaking to us, whispering in our inner ear, someone who cares very much about this present world and our present selves, and who has made us and the world for a purpose which will indeed involve justice, things being put to rights, ourselves being put to rights, the world being rescued at last. Namely, you are hearing the voice of God telling you what is right and what is wrong and calling you to pursue justice. Paul, in Romans 3:22-26, explains that Jesus died in our place to take upon himself the judgment we deserve, so that we could be justified and made right with God. This is the basis for our relationship with God. Living by the justice of God is an act of our faith. There is no difference, for all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God, and are justified freely by His grace through the redemption that came by Christ Jesus. God presented Him as a sacrifice of atonement through faith in His blood. He did it to demonstrate His justice at the present time, so as to be just and the one who justifies those who have faith in Jesus. In Jesus, the voice calling for justice came to life. Jesus brought justice to the world in His teachings and in His actions. He brought justice to the poor and the oppressed, although He did not come to judge, He came to save. His death justifies us as believers and makes us right in the eyes of God. And by rising from the grave, He overcame injustice in the world by defeating evil. Jesus' victory over death makes sense of our longing for justice.
The world is a lonely place, but with the relationships that God gives us, it's a little less lonely.
God created humans to need to have relationships with his fellow man. There is a certain reward that comes along with the building and maintaining of relationships during our time on earth. God calls us to be in fellowship with one another, not only to praise and glorify Him, but to build strong relationships to help us reach heaven.
There are mainly 4 groups of relationships that God has given us: family, friends, true love, and those within the church. All of these different relationships were given to us to bring us closer to each other and to God.
Our families allow us a safe haven to go to when the world is too harsh. Family relationships should keep us grounded. Our parents teach us the values and morals which later guide us and lead our lives. Friends help us when we need someone our age to speak to. God understood the different age and generational gaps between people, so He allowed us to befriend those around us so that we could have them at our sides when we need them the most. There are also the people we speak to on day-to-day basis and as we go throughout our lives. God also knew the importance of companionship. He knew that everyone needed someone in their lives who they could trust and love. There's a secret, deep longing within all of our hearts to be with that one person to spend the rest of our lives with, to grow old with. There are also bonds that come along with the church. God calls us to gather in groups of 2 or more to praise and glorify Him, and this is where His Spirit shall be. The people in the church are there to help us with our faith journey and to help us see the love of God in everything that we do and in our lives. We all at some point in our journey with God need a shoulder to cry on, lean on. This foundation can be just what we need to get through rough times.
What is spirituality? What does it mean to you? It's different for everyone. The general consensus is that it's the state or quality of being dedicated to God, religion, or spiritual things or values, especially as contrasted with materialistic or temporal things. Spirituality points away from the bleak landscape of modern secularism and toward the possibility that we humans are made for far more than this, something that transcends our reality. It's been said that the church can be used as the great lost and found department, of which some strive for spirituality. We're not human beings having a spiritual experience. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. Spirituality can be reached through many ways and measures, and people have different views on it all the time.
Have you ever thought of the world as God's canvas? Think of a painting, the blending colors to create a work of art. Have you ever thought about how every color, every shade, every intricate detail required a different stroke of the artist's brush? While some abstract paintings appear that they could have happened by chance, would a different artist with a similar background, given the same materials, produce the same result? The answer is no. A painting requires an artist with a vision to design and create it. Paint falling onto a canvas completely by chance could never produce an accurate depiction of a face or a landscape. Have you ever, as you were taking a walk through the woods, or maybe stopped at a scenic overlook, had your breath taken away by nature's beauty? Maybe it was a sunrise in a mountain valley, a sunset at the ocean, or maybe just a beautiful flower. Do you ever stop and wonder how this beauty came to be? Do you think about how every delicate petal was designed, how every splash of color in the sky came to be? Maybe you believe in evolution and believe that this came to be over billions of years of chance events. How can you look at creation, which is so beautiful and intricate, and not see the need for a creator? Have you ever wondered why beauty even exists in the natural world? But how can beauty be beneficial for an organism's life? Does the fact that a tree turns bright orange in the fall instead of brown help it last through the winter any better? No. So why does this beauty even exist? The beauty of the world is God's gift to us. It is there for us to enjoy, like a giant work of art. The world is a canvas. Let us praise its artists.